Let me guess. You clicked on this video because your damage looks like this. And you want your damage to look like this. Well, I'm gonna show you how to do that by talking about a few steps that you guys gotta follow. By modding. Modding is one of the most important things in Warframe. It literally contributes to all the damage you do. But first, we're gonna go over the basics of modding. First, you need to know is polarities. What are polarities? They're these little symbols in the top right corner of the modding slot, and each one is matching a mod, and you just have to put that matching one with the mod to make the capacity cost lower. Next, we're going to go into capacity. Capacity is the maximum amount of mod space you have, kind of like the storage on your PC. It's the same concept. And next is the Exilus slot. That is a completely extra slot. It's not really important, you don't need it, and only specific Exilus mods can go in there. Next, let's skim over some mods. You have your base damage mods, your crit mods, your elemental mods, and your faction mods. Now, these are something I'm going to talk about a little bit in depth real quick. The faction mods, basically, for the specific faction that you are attacking, it will do a double dip of sorts, basically hitting twice for damage over time. So like the slash, it'll double dip, boom boom, like that. So that's all you need to know for those. I mean, there's also utility mods, but you know, they're utility mods, nothing that needs to be said about that. So the first thing you want to do is look at a weapon's stats. So this weapon, you can see, has 10 fire rate, 40 magazine, 2-second reload, its accuracy is high, its trigger is auto, its crit chance is 26%, its crit damage is 2.4, stash chance is 18%. It also deals puncture damage. Another thing that you want to look out for is some of your guns may have a unique trait. So this weapon's unique effect is hipfire shots have plus 60% ammo efficiency, aimed headshots have plus 400% critical chance. So that means that with this special effect, we can cater to that because we don't really have to focus so hard on crit. Now, we still should focus it, but we don't have to focus so hard because it's got that unique effect. And a build that I would do would be something like this. So one thing you may notice with this build is there's a new stat, multi-shot. So what multi-shot does is when you shoot an enemy, it will apply an extra damage. It will apply extra damage. Each damage instance has its own chance to apply critical hits or status effects. So each one can get its own crit chance, its own status effect. So if you have so let's say this weapon has a element on it, this weapon has corrosive. So I shoot somebody, 2 hits. So 1 hit, the main hit, or actually 3 hits. 1 hit is the main hit, and then 1 more hit, and then another hit. And each hit could be a corrosive with a red crit, or like just a regular one with a red crit, or a puncture with an orange crit. Could be each one. Next thing we're going to talk about are why I modded it this way. So focusing on flat damage is not a good idea, and that's when you just put a bunch of damage mods and ignore the crit status chance. Because yeah, on paper it looks like it'll do a bunch of damage, but it falls short. Another thing is elements. Elements are very important because more than likely than not, if you just have a weapon that is just crit and there's no elements on it, it's not going to be very good. It's not going to feel good. But that doesn't mean it's not meant to be like some type of restraint. Elements Like, it doesn't have to be a specific element. Elements are good for many reasons. One in specific is they offer damage efficiency to specific groups. But that doesn't mean because like sentients are slightly immune to it, that doesn't mean you can't use corrosive on sentients. Like, this gun will still destroy a sentient with this build. Here's why, because you can also see corrosive temporarily removes up to 80% of a target's armor value. Armor, if you didn't already know, on an enemy is damage reduction. When the shield, it's like the shield icon on their health, and their health is typically like yellow, and that's their armor. That breaks that down 80%, so they only have 20% shield, which means they only get 20% damage reduction, essentially. And so your damage does more, you do more damage. So it may say the total is 583, but that's not even the total damage. In reality, the amount of damage you do is like 3,000 up to like 8,000 with this gun, with the build like this for all of early game. And you know, you don't have to be doing like triple digits, or not triple digits, you don't have to be doing quadruple digits for it to work and be a very good gun. Like, this is more than enough to get through all of Star Chart and get you into Steel Path. But I mean, granted, if you haven't finished Star Chart, so you may be wondering, well, what if I don't have any crit on my gun and it's only status? And for that, I would say just cater to status. You cater to status by like putting stuff like a Bane mod and maybe adding some extra electricity. And here's why you would do that if a weapon already has that status effect. I'll get to that shortly. Maybe you have Hammer Shot, put Hammer Shot on there. It adds status chance and also adds crit chance for that slight chance that you do get crit. Maybe you want to add a heat or cold or all of them and get radiation and cold, right? As long as you build for some form of crit damage is fine. You can do crit damage and status chance, or as long as you build for status chance and have some type of Bane mod, you're honestly good, and you'll destroy everything with damage over time. It also does slash, but here's where we're gonna get into these numbers. These numbers matter more than just damage, okay? These numbers are the chance of what is going to proc. So you see the highest number is the radiation, and if you look up here, hover over that, you can see radiation is a 98% chance. So there's a 98% chance out of everything that I get shot, radiation is going to proc the most. That's not saying it's going to proc one at a time. It doesn't work like that. For this weapon specifically, it won't work like that because it's an explosion. So if we look at the explosion, all of these will proc, but what's going to get proc the most is going to be cold and radiation. So that's basically how you build elemental, and it's literally the same thing for if they were like in between. Like, I would say whatever's higher, and if it's like relatively the same, you know, you can build for both. So like if it's like a 22 status chance and like a 26 crit chance, just build for crit and status. It's so easy to do that. Or you can just go into one or the other. It's really up to how you want to build it. So now you're ready to dominate Steel Path, right? Oh, right. I forgot to teach you about Steel Path. So you can go ahead and get rid of your base damage mod, because now we're working with galvanized mods. You can get those from arbitration missions. Primed mods, you can get that from Barokatir, and arcanes. Arcanes are going to act as your flat damage mods, by the way. They can do other things too, but that's how they're going to act here. So now let's change the way we're building the weapon. So instead of adding these for multi-shot, you can add, if I can find it, Galvanized Chamber. Galvanized Chamber adds plus 80 multi-shot, but on kill you also get plus 30 shot times in stacks of 5 on top of that, which is way more than regular multi-shot mods. For crit chance, you can, hold on, where is it at? Get rid of point strike, replace it with scope, because you can't just, because you can't have them, you could have them both, but I mean, there's really no point. You get crit chance on headshots, you get a bunch of crit chance that stacks up to 5. Get rid of serration. So now you have a little spot for this one, so you have more capacity. Why don't we go ahead and add Deadhead. Deadhead adds flat damage on headshot kill. It stacks up to 3, and you get a headshot multiplier and minus recoil, but you know, that's not really that important. So keep the vital sense, keep these. So your crit chance isn't looking too good, but you gotta think that it's gonna go up with this. You know what, let's actually go ahead and add this back, you know, because it can be really helpful. It can. So now you have that corrosive mod, so why don't we go ahead and add another element on top of that? Heat. Oh no, hold on. Heat. There we go. So corrosive and heat. These two work together like jelly and peanut butter. They are amazing together. Heat takes it down 50%. This takes it down 80%. Heat adds damage over time. I mean, it doesn't really do damage over time, but it does take it down 80%. So basically it goes down way faster than if you just shot it like this. So you are killing your enemies before your enemies get a chance to kill you, and you have one extra mod that you can use for like really anything. Maybe we want to put Elementalist. Oh, I can't even fit it. Yeah, so you have an extra mod that you can use for whatever you want. Let's see. Maybe there's an Exilus mod I might want to use. Not really. Yeah, this is basically a good little build to start you off in Steel Path. So once you get into Steel Path, start grinding for Arcanes. Primarily focus Deadhead. Use all the mods you have at your disposal. Definitely use Galvanized mods. If you have the option, use Primed mods. That's not saying you can't use Serration. Serration definitely helps, but it's just not really worth all the room because you already get it with Deadhead. Like I said, you got to keep in mind, you don't have to have like 1 million damage for everything. Like, sure, that looks cool and satisfying, but you don't have to. This will get you by Steel Path pretty easy. With a good Warframe, a good build for that Warframe too, and a nice kit, you can get through Steel Path so easy. But you know, then again, what do I know, right? I'm just a guy.